Hi everyone, welcome to this video where I'm going to be showing you all the Excel formulas you need to know for your Igcse Ict exams. So without further ado, let's begin. I have compiled all the formulas we need to know in this document for reference, and we'll be using three files to go through them. So let's begin. So the first formula we have is the sum formula, which is which works by calculates the total of a specified rate basically. And let's try it here. So over here, if we want to sum all the fees for semester 1 and semester 2, so we will use the sum. So every formula begins with an equal to sign. So we write sum, then we can either write two numbers here that we want to add, or we can select a range. So for this case, we select this one, and yes, and this is how we use the sum formula. Now moving on to sum if that adds two numbers when or numbers in a range when they meet a specific criteria. So here we say if we want to sum the fees of all the science students, we use sum if range. Also this is going to be our um, criteria is that um, no, sorry about the range is the first range is your criteria, right? So the range where you are going to meet your criteria. So for this specific case, we select from C2 to C7, and our criteria is that it should be a science student, right? And the sum range is yes. So this is the average science fee for both semesters for a science. This is the sum of the science fee for only science students for both of the semesters, right? And then we have average fee. Average is basically simple. It just returns the mean of a range of numbers. So we use the word average for that. There's nothing big with average. Okay. Now for this, let's just use semester one. Right? We do this and we get 11,583. Now another formula that I don't think we mentioned in this is the round formula. There are two ways you can actually round a real number, like a number with decimal places. You can either use these, or it's more preferable to use the round function so that when you print your formulas, it's visible how you do it. Now, if I want this to be rounded to zero decimal places, I'll just write zero and enter. Now I can reduce the decimal places or increase. So here I want it like this. And for this one as well. Alright. Now, if we want to average this, the, the, the fees for the first semester for only science students, right? You have to use something called average if. So there's a criteria you want to meet, and then you want to average. So you write average if. Now this is the range again for the criteria. The criteria is a science student. The range for the average is this. We are only finding for the first semester, right? Okay, in fact, let's do both semesters. And we get this. Now we round it off. Alright. And now if we want to apply currency, right, we don't click here. We click on this drop down, go to more accounting formats. We click on currency, and then we choose whatever currency and the decimal places we want. Otherwise, uh, because if you look at the markings, this is how the format is. Because if you just click on this, it gives you this weird graph over here, which doesn't look nice. Alright, now we have two other functions which are the maximum and the minimum. Maximum basically returns the largest value and minimum returns the smallest value. It's self-explanatory basically. Right? We just add max. So if you want the piece from here, sorry, each second, this is it, and then for minimum, we have min. So this is how basically the maximum and minimum functions work. Now we have okay rounding and integer function. We have the int function basically rounds a number to the nearest integer. So here for instance we did round, we can do integer as well. In, yes, we have round up and down. They also self-explanatory around those. Then we have the counting functions. Now there are three types of counting functions we have. We have the simple count, which is used to say we want to count how many exam grades we have here. We'll just do equals to count, right? We have six different exam grades as you can see. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yes, that is the most simplest version of count. Now, if you want to count something that is not numbers, it has text in it, use count A, right? So count A, you just select. So say you want to count the number of students we have, you just select this whole range and we hit enter. Alright, so we have six students. Now, if we want to count the number of science students we have, we use so we have a criteria and we are counting. So we use count if, right? Because if the student is a science student, then we count it. So we say count if this is our criteria is that it should be a science, and we have to, as we can see, one, two, and three. Yes, that is how count A and count if works. Now moving on to the if statements, this is where most of us get confused. So if statement is just a logical statement. It has two outcomes. It's either that you meet the criteria, so something is done, and if you don't meet the criteria, something else is done. Okay. Now we have nested ifs as well and if statements. So nested if is nothing difficult. It's basically if statements inside the statement. So say over here, each student is given a grade, and to get a pass, the minimum grade is 50. To get a med, the minimum grade is 70. To get a distinction, the minimum grade is 90. Now, in this place, we want to show what kind of pass the student has gotten. So we just start by writing an if statement. So if this grade is greater than or equals to 90, then it means it's a distinction, right? But if it's not greater than or equals to 90, then it can either be greater than or equals to 50 or 70, right? So we have to check that. So now if this same grade is uh, if the same grade over here, okay, so I made a mistake here. Instead of using 90, you can use these values we have here. It's much easier, and we have to use absolute cell reference. I'll show you why that is done after this. So if it's greater than or equals 70, then we show where. If it's not greater than or equals to 70, then it is definitely less than 70. So the only choice left is if this, then we show us. Otherwise, it's a wrong grade, or maybe it's ungraded. Okay. Or maybe you can just write it here. Okay. Now, if we replicate all of this, you will see that we are getting wrong values. For something like 67, we have gotten a distinction. That is because when we replicate these formulas, each time we move it down, the range of the cells change. Over here, if you notice, we have G2 and G4. Here, so here it becomes G2 and K5, G4 and K6, and it keeps increasing like that. But we only want this to change, the first one. We only want the G's to change, not the K. So to avoid the or to stop the K from changing, we do something called the absolute cell referencing. We press F4 on our keyboard, and so that this stays constant no matter how many times we replicate it. Alright, now we do that. Alright, now we can see that we are getting correct results. And to get the F4, we have to either just press F4 or F the key Fn plus F4. It depends on your keyboard. Hopefully you understand this. And now moving on to the lookups we have vertical lookups which searches for data that is arranged vertically. Then we have XLOOKUP which searches a range for a matching items corresponding value from another range. It works horizontally and vertically. And then okay, so let's look at this first. So over here I have two more files. I have one that has a scholarship code, a scholarship name, and the amount of savings you are getting from that scholarship, right? So over here in this file, we have the scholarship codes from here. So from the scholarship file, see these and these. Now, based on the scholarship code we have over here, we want to show the amount of scholarship received for each student. So for that, we use a vertical lookup because our data is vertically in the lookup thing, right? See, it's arranged vertically, it's increasing downwards. So vertical, so equals to 2 lookup. Now, one thing I'd like to show is that if you don't like enter your values in this particular view, look at this SX over here, and then you get this menu where you can easily enter all of them. So for our lookup value, we have this cell. Table array is basically the part of the table where you are going to get your results from, right? So now if we go to our scholarship, this is our table array. Now the column index number is the column number in the table from which the matching value should be returned. And for this particular table, right, we have three columns. We have column A, B, C. So we are going to return the savings amount, which is in column C, right? And column C is column number 3 over here. Okay. And And then the range lookup, it is true if you want an approximate match, and if you want an exact match, we will choose false. In the example, mostly we use false. On the occurrences, we have to use true. So this is it. So for scholarship 3, we get 1,000. That is over here, so it's true. And now we replicate this for all the others. Alright, simple. Now moving on to XLOOKUP. Um, so over here, I have grade threshold, and based on that threshold, we have comments for performance for each student, right? And now in this column over here, the performance column, we want that specific comment for each student. So to get that, we use XLOOKUP. Now the reason why we use XLOOKUP over here is that uh, this data will be hard to search vertically over. We can't search vertically, but using XLOOKUP here would be a very difficult thing to do. So we use XLOOKUP. It's more easier and efficient. So the lookup value. So whatever performance the student has done depends on the grade, right? So for this particular one, you select the grade, and the lookup array. The lookup array is uh, it is basically the the values that are going to match the lookup value. So over here, the grade thresholds, we are going to match this exam grade, right? So we select this, right? The return array is the part of the table from which you are going to return the data. So here we are going to return the comments which are from B2 to C, B2 to C2, right? And then for over here now we're going to show something if our data is not found. So we can say maybe error the wrong grade because yeah, or we can even decide to leave it empty. Now match mode. That is the confusing. Okay, my bad. Okay, okay. Now the match mode. I'm going to choose -1 over here because it suits the best. -1 searches for an exact match. If not found, searches for the next larger item. It makes the most sense in this case because if you just try one, right, it gives you elite. But when you replicate that, right, elite is for 95 and above, right? But over here, for 90, we have gotten elite. We wouldn't want that, right? That is invalid, so we choose -1. Right? Search mode can be any, you can decide to leave it empty as well, right? Now it's fixed. And this is how XLOOKUP works. Now I have combined all these. I have made basically notes you can use it. This will be available in the description. And then I'd also like to mention the Discord server I have created for our community. Basically, you can find useful resources for ICT and computer science over there. I'll attach the link for it in the description. Feel free to join if you want useful resources, summary notes, any notes or any resources or any help you want with a specific paper, or if you just want to talk with other students, feel free to join. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Comment below if we should solve a past paper for paper 3 or which new video you would like. Alright.